University. This is going to be a quick how to install on a CURT 31088 front hitch. It's the CURT 31088. This is a 2019 Silverado LTZ 1500. I don't think the LTZ matters, but the 31088 hitch is for the 2019 and 2022 years, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but you can research that. I believe that's what it is. There's not that many videos out there. Actually, there isn't any videos at all. And then once I got to installing it, I said, let me look out for my YouTube University and just do a quick video on what I've done so far. So bear with me. I'm not a high YouTube production video maker here, but when you get underneath, you'll see that there's a cover here that goes attached to the skid plate over here. And that cover, you remove it, removing this bolt here, and as well as over there. And then each corner right in here, 4 bolts. The instructions will tell you that, 4 bolts. And once you remove this cover, you can see easier in here what's going on. Basically what you do is, I'm gonna need some light in here. There we go. In here, your tow hooks. On the passenger side, you're only gonna have 1 bolt exposed on this side. On the other side, you'll see 2 bolts. That's because 1 bolt goes through the frame, which is that one, and the other bolt goes attached to the tow hook itself. It doesn't go completely through. So on the passenger side, you're going to attach it using that bolt. So you only have to release that bolt on the other side, which is the one on the front side. On this side, you see 2 bolts, because that's the same thing as the other side that I was talking about. On the passenger side, you'll be removing the front bolt, which is that one, and then which is that one here. But on this side, you remove the one closer to you, which is the first one here. All right. And then on this side, you'll be using the supply bolt they gave you. And on this side, you'll be using the existing bolt that goes through the frame. Okay. That's the attachment point on the front, up here on the inside. The back, well, it's where you remove the cover. So here you'll be removing the bolt there. And then with the supplied fish wire they give you, which is, let me take it out here from underneath it, laying on it. This right here, this wire, you'll be fishing that through this access hole here that they mentioned, and then you're going to try to get that to come out through this hole. There's 2 holes here. You won't be able to see it, obviously, but you want the small round one. The other one's kind of like a weird triangle shape. You don't want to use that one. I made the mistake and I used that one. I had to redo it. So you want to use the small one. Once you read the instructions on how to attach your bolt through here and pass everything through here, you just fish it through this hole, get everything out, and then with some help with somebody, you probably gonna need the help of somebody, hold it in place and then attach it on here by hand, which is what I got going on here. So I'll attach by hand. Okay. And what that does is, what I figured out was that helps with figuring out how to trim your piece here for the receiver hitch. Okay, because they say use masking tape and then measure 3 inch by 1.5 or something. And I thought if I could just prop it up on here, the hitch will line up. Once I have it lined up where I want it, then I know where to cut on each side. And that's where I'm at. So far, as you can see, hopefully you can see, I have a cut there. I have the plastic cut right here. And how I've been managing that is, get myself situated here, is I've been using a torch and a knife. So I'll take the torch, I'll heat up the knife, and then I started on the back end first, and just kind of use the hitch as my line, like that, and then just with the hot knife, just went right in and up, made a cut. And then I got myself something straight, which I attach here to the frame, and then I use that as a guide and the knife, and just go up. You can see it's kind of curving in, but I thought to myself, that's fine. Once I can get the preliminary cuts here and on this side, I can then reshape it up by going in there and make it straighter and all that. I can always cut out, so that's not bad. So what I mean by that is, if you cut out and then you realize you had to cut less, then it looks stupid. You know what I mean? So you can always cut in, and it's fine at an angle, and then you can always go back and straighten it out and cut off. So as the old saying goes, you can always remove, but you can't add. So that's how I figured out how to do the cut for the hitch, and that's gonna come up on there. And once I have it up, then I can go ahead and attach the front hitch frame to those bolts on the tow hooks that I was talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to continue cutting this, and then I'll show you how to attach the bolts. Bear with me. Here's how I heat up the knife with the blowtorch. Looks like I'm close to the cardboard, but I'm not. I'm just heating that up so it's nice and orange a little bit. And it'll last long. It won't go cold right away. But I heat it up once so it's orange like that, and then that tells me when to stop. All right, here we go. I'm gonna use the hitch first as my guide, and I'm gonna cut in there. Again, I can always cut in at an angle and cut more later. So right about there, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna use my guide so I don't make it worse. But you can see how that's working out right there. Okay, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with an update on the trimming. You can see you got the both sides, and I melted enough at the top here, enough to be able to bend this back. And I think I can maybe show you how this is going to go. Now I'm able to kind of lift this up and through, and you can see that it's not looking too bad. Just drop down right there, but you can see I can lift it up and put it through. So I think what I'll do is I'll try to see if I can attach it onto the frame first before I finish cutting. If I think everything looks good, I might just leave it the way it is and then just completely finish cutting this off. All right, and we'll be back with the next update. Okay, another quick update. I ended up breaking that piece, that flap, and I have it up in there. As you can see, it's nice and tight against the frame, which is good. It's rubbing on here. I can literally cut a little more, but I think I prefer to be tight against the hitch than to be completely loose. That way it's not as flimsy. If you hit a curve or something, or a bag or some debris or something, you know, I don't know, maybe you just don't want it to be too flimsy. Make it nice and rigid. And I was able to bring it up and tighten it a little more on the frame on here, and it's pretty much lined up right there where it's supposed to go. Just kind of have to wiggle it a little bit and straighten it out a little better to get the bolts to go right in there. And then I got to fish this one. So you can see I'm moving the frame, you can see the bolt in there. So I just have to wiggle it and then push those bolts in, and hopefully I'll get those bolts right through, and then I can, you know, start tying everything up and line it up and tighten the bolts, line this up, make sure everything's all good before I tighten everything all nice, and then come back around here and make sure this is still looking good here. But so far, that's how you install this thing. If you're a visual person like I am, this will help you out a lot as far as figuring out how this works. We'll be right back. I'll be right back with the next update for you guys. All right, and I was able to get the bolt on here on the left, on the driver's side. As you can see, it's on there. It's head tight, and that's my update. And I got tips for you now, because on this side, when I removed this bolt, I backed it out just enough that it was flush with the frame hole here, and then when I went to tighten the bolt from this side, I didn't realize that I left my ratchet on ready to be tightened, and so I went ahead and turned the knob, and as I started to turn, I didn't realize that I was continuing to back it off. So that's my tip, is don't completely remove the bolt, leave it flush against the frame, so you can feel it with your finger. So then when you introduce the frame to it, you can just go ahead and start tightening it, and it'll go right through. If you make the mistake I did and completely back it off, it'll fall off, and you won't be able to introduce it back in through the hole, and you'll have to end up loosening up the second bolt so you can get that tow hook nice and loose, so you can line up the hole and then put it back through like I just did here. So pro tip there for you guys, don't make that same mistake I did. So here I'm ready to put the nut back on that bolt, and then come back and recheck everything, make sure everything's all lined up. As you can see here, what it looks like on the trim. As you can see here, it's kind of pushing out somewhat. As you can see, it's kind of bulging out a little bit. So I think I am going to end up cutting a little more off the plastic, but I can do that with the knife and just cut little by little until then it sits flush and it's not bulging out. You can kind of see it's like sticking out. I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but I can see it from here. It should go back a little more. So I'll be trimming a little more there. So if there's any other updates, I will come back, which actually I think I will. I'm going to trim that back and show you what the difference was. So I'll be right back. Well, that was quick. I did actually went ahead and heated up the knife, and I ended up cutting a little more, but I realized that there's actually the hitch is right there. So this top portion is actually hitting against metal. So that's what's pushing the trim outward. It did go back a little bit on this side, and then I thought about this side, and I thought, well, there's no sense of doing that because this slides easy. It's that metal part of the hitch that's stopping this trim from going back and pushing out. So it's actually the way it's supposed to be, but a little better on this side. If I had to do this again, I probably wouldn't go all the way up as I did here. You can see some of the little white plastic is exposed from the back side of this trim. I could take a marker and color that black and kind of hide it a little better, but I can go a little lower here. So if you guys want to do this and try to do it this way, when you come up, just stop short, maybe about a 1/4 inch from this line here on top of my nail there, 1/4 inch down, and then cut across, and then work it and remove more if you need to. But overall, it looks great. A lot better than I thought it was going to be, for a YouTube university or graduate. It's not bad. So I'm going to go ahead and just tighten up the bolts on the inside and come back out here and see how it looks, and maybe make last minute touches. Maybe file this down here a little bit so it's smooth and not rugged. Get rid of all these little plastic strands. Clean it up a little better. Color that in. And make it look a little more presentable. Other than that, that's mostly it. But we'll be back here with a final update for you guys. Okay guys, quick update. I got my bolt all tightened up, but another pro tip, and this one, hopefully you can hear me. I got the heater on. It's winter here in Pennsylvania, so this one is on CURT. Based on their instructions, they say that you need an 18 millimeter socket, a 13 millimeter socket, and an 11/16. So on this bolt that they supplied, the 18 wouldn't go in. So it's actually it's a 19. It's not an 18. So this bolt they supplied, the silver bolt with the gold washer, it's actually a 19 millimeter socket. So you're gonna need that as well. You can blame that on CURT. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead now and put on the cover here and tighten up these bolts on here and on here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so that didn't take much longer to have another pro tip. You also need an 18 millimeter deep socket, because when you go to tighten up this bolt that they gave you, the 18 short socket does not work. So far, in addition to what they specify in the instructions, you will need a 19 millimeter for the bolt up here, and then an 18 millimeter also long socket. So 18 millimeter short and long. I guess you can get away with using long anywhere, but when you get to here, you're definitely gonna need a long one. So just FYI, pro tip on that one. And we'll be right back. All right, back again. I got the cover back on. You can see it's back on there. The cover goes over the new bolt that you put through the frame, and then the second nut they supplied goes right on here to attach the cover back on. So, and then you use your original ones for the skid plate. And all I gotta do is tighten these four, the two on the other side, and that's that'll be a wrap for under here. And you can see that's kind of how the hitch sits on here under the truck. And I got all these noises going on right now. The air compressor, the heater's going. So, but that's what it looks like under here. Once you got this cover back on, bolts, and you should be done. Okay, guys, that's it. Once the cover's on and tightened, that's what it looks like. All right, everything's the cover's back on over to here, on top of the hitch. Hitch sits on the trim, just like that. And that's a wrap from the other side. See you on the top side. Back down here on the bottom side. I knew something was going to come up, but I wanted to show you what I was talking about earlier. Get the light going on here for you guys. This piece right here is part of the hitch. That's actually what's stopping the trim and pushing the trim out. So that's the piece I was talking about. You can't push the trim any further because that's in the way, right there. So you can see the cut is nice and tight against the frame on this side. Over here, got the same thing going on, nice and tight. Even though I cut some more, but this metal piece, it's what's stopping the trim going back any further. So just FYI right there, so you don't keep cutting thinking, oh, why is it bulging out like I did, and panic and then cut more. But that's how you work around trimming your trim panel here nice and tight without using the instructions. Tape, measure, 3 inches, blah, 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 guessing work. Just put it on your frame, let it hang from the back, introduce it to your trim, and then get a hot knife, cut up, cut across where you want it, and then you'll be all set. All right, see you on the top side now. Okay, guys, that's a wrap for the installation here. This is what it looks like. Get nice view here. It's probably a little difficult to see, but that's it. That's what it is. Comes up on your trim there a little bit. The only thing to be aware with this is that you can see it hangs lower than the actual trim. So yeah, for some of you guys who are used to pulling up the curves and just going ahead to thinking I'm going to just go over this curve so my back end doesn't stick out. If you touch my trim from edge all the way across, it's rough. So I don't remember the times I've gone over a curve, but it's obviously seen a few curve burns. So you got to be aware, so when you're parking front ways, that your hitch may hit these curves. So that's the only downside I see to the front hitch. To having a front hitch, it's that. So you have to now be aware of the front. So not looking forward to my first hitch scratch, because I'm sure I'm gonna forget at one point, and it's probably gonna take us a couple times of me hitting it before I try to remember. But other than that, it's pretty much clean cut. All you gotta do now, it's you know what I mean, just buy a cover here to slap on there when you don't have any carriers or anything in the back. We install this so we can carry a front bike carrier for when we go camping, since I don't want to put a hitch on the back of our camper. So another pro tip is that the instructions that came with the hitch receiver itself, as you can see, they are black and white, and you can't really tell real well what's going on, what they're showing you. So I went ahead and found it online and printed it in color. As you can see here, the difference It's night and day. Here you can see a little more detail of what's going on. You can see the bolt colors and everything. Here you can't really tell. So it's a difference of night and day. As you can see right here, got it in color. So pro tip is to print these directions off their website in color. And if you're like me, you like colors and pictures, then this will be the way to go. All right. So FYI tip on that. And once you're said and done, you're going to be left over with these original parts. A bolt, the 2 bolts for the skid cover, bolt for the tow hook, the 2 clips that are used for these bolts, and then your trim piece. So all in all, you should have these parts left over. These are the original parts that you removed and should have left over. So all right, guys, well, that's a wrap here on the CURT front hitch 310 88 install. Hope this video helped you guys out. So if you have any questions, put it down in the comments. Any sort of questions you may have, and let me know. I'll also, if you've done this installation and if you have other tips and you don't want to create another video, then just slap it down in the comments and let everybody else know who's watching. That way we keep it all in one place. Or you can just make a video yourself. So like I decided to. So other than that, guys, it's been great. Hope this video helped you guys out. I don't want to ramble on, and we'll see you next time. Peace.